Just a reminder to vote in this week's Locals poll, where you decide what deck I take to Locals every single week. Without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video.
Hello everyone, and today we have something I haven't done in a very, very long time, about 4 years I guess. That is a deck profile video. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be running through all the cards, maybe some test hands and combos, and yeah, so without any further ado, I'm going to cut to a screenshot of the deck list in EDO Pro so you kind of know what it looks like on paper, and then we'll get into the individual cards. Alright, so starting with the main deck, first off we're running 3 Abyss Shark. So Abyss Shark is arguably one of the best cards in the deck. Basically it's a level 5, and if you have water monsters on your field, you can special summon it from your hand for basically for free, and then it also searches you a level 3, 4, or 5 water monster, and it doubles the first instance of battle damage that your number monster inflicts this turn. So really solid card here. You always want to see this card in your opening hand, whether you're going first or second. A definite 3 of. This shark is very, very good. Next, I run 2 Crystal Shark. So I'm only running 2 because it can revive itself from the graveyard. So basically, if you have a water monster on your field, you can either special summon it from either your hand or graveyard, but it's banished when it leaves the field. But if you use it as an Xyz material, then it doesn't count as leaving the field, so then it goes back to the graveyard, so you can revive it again. Really good. And then both this and Abyss Shark have the continuous effect that if they're used for an Xyz summon of a number monster, just wanted to double check, if it's used for the summon of a number monster, it can be treated as either a level 3 monster or a level 4 monster in addition to its inherent level, which is level 5. So really flexible. Both this and Abyss Shark are really good, and usually you'll be searching Crystal Shark off of Abyss Shark if you don't have it in your hand. So really nice, concise little way to go ahead and start getting into some of your numbers. I also run 1 Dream Shark. So basically, it's like a Cyber Dragon, where if you don't have any monsters, you can special summon it. Or if there's only water monsters on your field, so again, being able to just, go into rank 5 plays. And it can't be destroyed by battle once per turn, which never came up at Locals, but, it can happen. And then there's also an effect in the graveyard where if you would take effect damage, you can special summon it in defense position. It loses 1,000 defense, but then you don't take any effect damage. It never came up in Locals this time when I took it, but it definitely was a point of consideration when I was going against Trap Tricks, because Gravedigger's Trap Hole is a thing. So nice little starter or extender there, depending on how you use it. Next, one of the contenders for best card in the deck is Buzzsaw Shark. So I run this at 3. And this is one of your main starters. If you don't have Abyss Shark, then this is what you want to see in your hand. So this lets you summon a shark out of the deck, and then it also shares the ability that Crystal and Abyss Shark have that lets you modify its level for Xyz summons. And then in tandem with that, I also run 2 Lantern Shark. It does a very similar thing, except Lantern Shark summons from your hand when it's summoned. When it's normal or special summon, you get a monster from your hand, and it can have the flexible levels. And then Buzzsaw Shark lets you summon it out of the deck. So, very good monsters, but I did decide to cut Lantern Shark down to 2 because it has to summon from your hand, so it's not quite as flexible as Buzzsaw Shark. Next, running 2 Double Fin Shark. Basically, this is a really nice way for you to just expand your board presence. So like say if I already have a monster on the board, or I just got hit with a board wipe or something, I can normal summon Double Fin Shark, get something back from my grave, and then immediately go into one of my Xyz plays. So really nice to just either extend or recover, but I only run 2 partially because it is searchable with Abyss Shark, so I feel like running 3 was a little overkill for that. But we are moving on to Saber Shark. This is one of my favorite cards, just based on its looks, but then also its design. So up to twice per turn, you can target a monster on your field, and you can change its level. So I can, say, make this a level 5, then I can target this, make it a level 5, go into a rank 5, or I can make both of these level 3, go into a rank 3, or I can keep them as is for a rank 4. So this is another popular choice for Buzzsaw Shark to get out of the deck, just so that way I can already have one in the graveyard to reborn later. But the main one that I actually want to get off of Buzzsaw Shark straight from the deck is actually this guy right here, Right Hand Shark. Alright, and I mean, when it's normal summoned, you can add a Left Hand Shark, which I'm also running one of. But the main reason I like to pull this out of the deck for Buzzsaw Shark's effect is because it has the effect that an Xyz monster that was summoned using only water monsters, including this card as material, can't be destroyed by battle. And when we get to the test hand combo thing, I will show you why this is important. And then we also have Left Hand Shark. If it's special summoned from the graveyard, becomes level 4. But then also with Saber Shark, you can modify its level, or modify Saber Shark's level to go into a rank 3. So again, I mean, one of the big points of Sharks for me is flexibility. I want to be able to do lots of different things in different situations depending on what supplementary cards are in my hand, so that way we're not, just stuck doing one thing. All right. Next are some of my extenders. We have Silent Sea Nettle and Silent Angler, both of them at 2. Again, since a lot of these are searchable and there's already a lot of special summoning, I don't want my hand to be clogged with nothing but extenders and no starters, so I'm running each of these at 2. Sea Nettle's technically not a shark monster, but it's a level 4 water that special summons itself from your hand, so why not? And then Silent Angler, same thing. If you control a water monster, you can special summon it from your hand. Both of these are very nice extenders, especially if your Buzzsaw Shark gets ashed, or if your Lantern Shark gets Veilered, or Impermed, just anything like that. That's it for the monsters, though. Next, we're going to go into the single spells, so I run each of these at 1. So we have Rank Up Magic Variance Force, Glorious Numbers, Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, and Foolish Burial Goods. Alright, so these are my one-of spells, and there's a couple more, but I'll get to those in a little bit, because they're kind of special. So, Rank Up Magic Variance Force, take a number, special summon a number C, that's 1 rank higher, and then if your opponent has an Xyz monster on the field, you can actually steal its Xyz material. So, just a nice way to go into... Usually, I'll use this to go into Abyss Supra Splash, but if I really want to flex, I'll go into Silent Honor Arc and then use this into Silent Honor Dark. But usually my main target for this is not going to be number 101, Glorious Numbers. This lets us special summon a number monster from our graveyard and draw a card if we control no monsters. And then in the same turn, we can actually banish this from our graveyard and attach a card from our hand to an Xyz monster we control. So this is a really good way if I have no monsters. I play this, reborn Silent Honor Dark, draw a card, and then I can just banish this from the grave, attach a card from my hand to it as material. And it's any card. It doesn't even have to be a monster. So it's, again, flexible because I can, if I know it's going to be destroyed next turn, then I can literally put a spell or trap that I want in the graveyard just for additional setup. Again, flexibility is the name of the game. Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn. Foolish Burial is obviously for graveyard setup. Monster Reborn is for, it can be either for starting or extending combos, you know, whatever you want to do. Again, flexibility. And then we have Foolish Burial Goods. So, Foolish Burial Goods, the main card I'm going to try to send off of this is Torpedo Takedown. And the reason for that is because its graveyard effect is, and unfortunately it's not the same turn that it's sent to the graveyard, unfortunately, but I can banish it and a Water Xyz monster to draw 2 cards. So if I want more options during my next turn, boom, I got it. And then also there is the effect damage and attack gain, although that normally doesn't come up, although it actually did, and I'll showcase the combo that I used to OTK the Frightfur player in Game 2, where this card was actually relevant. So that was really fun. Next is one of the most important parts of the deck. That is 3 copies of 7th Ascension. So basically this lets you add a Barion's Spell or Trap, a Rank Up Magic Quick Play spell, or a 7th Spell or Trap, and you can either add it to your hand or place it on top of the deck. And these are the different targets. We have 7th Eternity, which is a trap card, but it's a negate if you have the Chaos number on the field. Rank Up Magic Quick Chaos, again, just for more flexibility, especially with Abyss Splash. Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, which is the normal target that I'm going to go for. I want to place it on top of my deck. Or, if I'm going second, I can add it to my hand, then use its graveyard effect to banish it, and then send this from my hand to the grave, and it copies the effect. Barian Utopia, field spell, protects my Chaos numbers from being targeted or destroyed by card effects. And if I summon using a Rank Up Magic spell, then I can literally steal an opponent's monster and attach it as Xyz material. We also have Barion's Chaos Draw. I never got to activate this card at locals when I took this deck, unfortunately, but basically it has the same condition as the 7th one where you have to draw it and reveal it, and then you can either send a 7th normal spell from deck to the graveyard, 7th one, to copy its effect, or you can special summon 2 monsters and immediately Xyz summon a number. So, unfortunately, I never got to use this one. I drew it a couple times in my starting hand, but I never got to use it, but the option is there. So, yeah, these are the 7th cards that we will typically be available to us off of 7th Ascension. Again, normally, I'm going to try to go for Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. If my opponent has something special from the extra deck and I'm going second, I can immediately pitch this with its effect to copy and get our C101 onto the field. Or if I'm going first, I can put it on the top of the deck, draw it, and reveal it for its normal effect. So, without any further ado on that, and since we already kind of talked about 7th Eternity, now we're going to the traps. Not very many traps. So we have 2 Xyz Reborn to start with. And so basically, it's basically just Monster Reborn, but for Xyz monsters. Kind of hinted at in the name. But the main reason I run this card is because it attaches itself to the Xyz monster as material. So, this situation didn't happen during locals, but it could have. The guy that was playing Synchrons, he also has played B-Trooper in the past. That's kind of like the main deck he runs. And he runs Godarla, the Kaiju. in his B Trooper deck because it's searchable off of Resonance Insect. And so he theoretically could have tributed over my Silent Honor Dark, and then using this card, I could flip it up, revive it, and then attach as Xyz material, so that way if it gets destroyed, then it can revive itself and I gain life points equal to its attack. So it's just basically another way for me to keep getting number C101 back, because that is one of the main goals of the deck. We also have Xyz Revived Splash. This is another target I can send off of Foolish Burial Goods, because as a quick effect I can banish this from the graveyard and basically rank up a Water Xyz monster. Or I can target a rank 4 or lower Xyz monster in my graveyard and special summon it. So one good thing to revive off of that is Stealth Kraken. So again, just kind of, you know, flexibility. Name of the game. We'll go over the extra deck right quick. I feel like the extra deck won't take very long, and then we'll go into the combos. So we have Rebarian Shark. I'll showcase that, why we have that in one of the combos. Leviathan Dragon, because it's one of my favorite Xyz monsters ever. Black Ray Lancer. We normally don't summon this, but it is an option for 2 level 3 waters. It's a targeting negate. So, like a continuous spell or trap that we can negate. Double Stealth Kraken Spawn and 1 Stealth Kraken. Destruction and burn damage. Destruction on waters. Full Armored Black Ray Lancer. I'll show this in the Rebarian Shark combo. Number 101, Silent Honor Arc. Bahamut Shark. Number 37. Great for attack modulation in either player's turn. Shark Drake, if we ever want to flex. Valiant Shark Lancer. Abyss Splash. Number C101. And number C73, Abyss Super Splash. So yeah, that's the extra deck. Give me a minute to shuffle, and I'll showcase some test hand combos. Alright, that should be good enough. Alright, so let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so assuming that we're going to go first. Okay, so we have Xyz Reborn, Foolish Burial, Silent Sea Nettle, Abyss Shark, and Dream Shark. Okay, so actually, let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. All right, so this hand's not bad. Not bad at all. So, assuming that we're going first. Okay, assuming that we're going first. We would special summon Dream Shark because we control no monsters. Then because we control a water monster, special summon Abyss Shark. And upon its special summon, we get to add a level 3, 4, or 5 water monster from our deck to our hand. Let's just go with Buzzsaw Shark, because it's always a solid pick. Okay. So that gets added to our hand. Alright, so 2 monsters on field, 4 in hand. Now again, this is assuming that we're going to go first. Okay, so what I would do in this case is I would overlay these 2 for Valiant Shark Lancer. And the reason for that is because if we have another Water Xyz monster, then we can quick effect detach one from any Xyz monster we control to destroy an opponent's monster. Alright, so here's where the spice comes in, okay? Normal summon Buzzsaw Shark, okay? Now, let's just say our opponent has an Ash Blossom. Okay, so we attempt to activate Buzzsaw Shark's effect targeting itself to special summon one from the deck. But our opponent has an Ash Blossom. Okay, fine. Silent Sea Nettle, since we control a water monster. Overlay these two. Now, the monster we're going to summon is Bahamut Shark. Now, before we move on with the combo, if our opponent did not have that hypothetical Ash Blossom and could not stop Buzzsaw Shark, what we would actually do is special summon Right Hand Shark with Buzzsaw Shark's effect, so that way Bahamut Shark could not be destroyed by battle. But since our opponent has that hypothetical Ash Blossom, we cannot do that. Alright, so, just for argument's sake, because, not everything goes right in the duel. So, what we would then do is activate Bahamut Shark, be a detach 1, special summon a rank 3 or lower Water Xyz monster from our extra deck. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to summon number 71 Rebarian Shark. And then immediately upon that successful summon, using the rank 3 or lower Water Xyz monster we control that has no Xyz materials, we're going to summon Full Armor Black Ray Lancer on top of it. Just slap it on top of it, okay? So then what we would do is, kind of don't really need the Foolish Burial right now, so I'll just hang on to it. And then I can also use it next turn as, like, Ash Bait. So we would set the Xyz Reborn. And from there, we would pass our turn. So what we would be able to do is, during our opponent's turn, since we control multiple Water Xyz monsters, using Valiant Shark Lancer's effect, we would target an opponent's monster, detach a material from a monster we control, and then destroy it. We would detach the Rebarian Shark from Full Armored Black Ray Lancer. And upon hitting the graveyard, its effect will activate, allowing us to put a rank-up magic spell from our deck on the top of the deck, okay? So, yeah, you already know where this is going. Per the effect of Rebarian Shark, we're going to put Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, on the top of our deck. If I can find it. There it is. So we're going to take this, set that aside, we're going to shuffle up, and then put this on the top. Alright, so that way, next turn, we can draw, reveal it to our opponent, keep it revealed till the start of our main phase 1, slap it on down, and then just immediately summon our number 101, and then into our C101. Boom. And then we still have the pop from Valiant Shark Lancer. We get the Absorb Xyz material, or what I like to call the Yoink from C101. And if C101 gets destroyed, like let's just say, I don't know, Torrential Tribute, Xyz Reborn. So, yeah, that's pretty much the main combo with Bahamut Shark. The only other thing, and I'm not going to do a whole nother test hand for it, I don't think, because this video is already getting longer than I thought it would be, is if we have 7th Ascension, we can either place the 7th one on the top of our deck with it, or if we're going 2nd, and we have this in our hand, we can add this to our hand, then banish this from the graveyard, send this to the graveyard, and it copies the effect. So regardless, we're getting this off. no matter what happens. We are using this effect. It's no longer just like a dead brick. Okay, so now we're going to actually rewind. So I'm going to put all these cards back where they go. And we're going to have a hypothetical for going second. Okay, we restocked our extra deck. We have the same 5 cards in our starting hand. We're going to give this a nice shuffle. Two and 3 times. All right, so if we were going second, here's what we would have to work with. All right, draw for turn. Okay, rank up magic, quick chaos. Nice. This is actually really, really good for us in this particular situation. So, just like the last time, we'd start off special summoning Dream Shark since we control no monsters. Then, Abyss Shark. Search for Buzzsaw once again. Maybe I can find one. Here we go. Add Buzzsaw. Normal summon it. Attempt to activate effect. Special summon one from the deck. Now, since we're going second, it kind of depends on what our opponent has on the board. As for what we would do here with Buzzsaw Shark. So I'm just going to go for Lantern Shark here. Maybe you guys can see that. There we go. Let me move these over a little bit, actually. Oh, and one thing to note is the monster summoned off a Buzzsaw Shark cannot activate its effects that turn. So that's a very important thing to remember if you are wanting to pull something like a Saber Shark. It can't activate its effects that turn. I should have mentioned that earlier. So for our rank 4, there's a few different things we can do. So we could technically go into our number 4, Stealth Kraken, which is a very, very solid choice. We could technically go into our number 101 since we have the rank up magic in our hand. We could go for Bahamut Shark. Or we could also go for number 37 to decrease our opponent's monsters by 1,000 attack. We could technically also summon Silent Sea Nettle and summon Shark Drake, but just to be kind of well-rounded, we're going to go with the Stealth Kraken here. So that way we can get some free damage. Alright, now we're going to take our 2 level 5s. Overlay. Now, in this case, we're actually going to go for number 73, Abyss Splash. Now, the reason for this is because we used Abyss Shark's effect. The first instance of battle damage that he's going to deal is doubled. And his effect normally halves the damage, but now they're going to take the full damage from a 4,800 beat stick. Okay. So we activate that, go into battle. 4,800. Okay. Very nice. 1,900. Then still in battle phase. Quick Chaos. Overlaying Abyss for Supra. Oh, forgot to detach. And then 3,000. Okay, so that could easily be an OTK right there. And I did actually just remember, I was going to show you the OTK I pulled off against the Frightfur player. So, yeah, let me get that ready right quick. Okay, going to try to go through this quickly, just because, like I said, the video's already getting kind of long. So this is something very similar to the hand that I got when I OTK'd the Frightfur player in Game 2. So this is something that's very similar. The only things I don't know for certain if we had was the Xyz Revive Splash and the Barian's Chaos Draw. I think that was one of the games where I drew that in my opening hand. I think. but I'm not sure, but we're not even going to be using these 2 cards for this, so we're just going to kind of ignore those. The main thing is these 3 right here. Okay, so normal summon Buzzsaw Shark. All right, activate. Target itself, special summon a fish from deck. I'm just going to get the first one I come to, because it literally doesn't matter. All right. Going to overlay these 2 for number 37, which, again, will allow me to decrease his monster's attack by 1,000. All right. Then, since we control a water monster, Abyss Shark. Search Crystal Shark. Boom. Summon Crystal Shark, cutting Abyss Shark's attack in half. And remember, since we special summon it off of its own effect, first instance of battle damage that a number inflicts is doubled. Alright, keep that in mind. That's very important. Alright, we're going to overlay for number 73, Abyss Splash. Alright. Now, the only thing he had on his field was an interesting tech card that he runs, being Card Trooper, because it allows him to mill things like Toy Vendor and Fluffle Wings, Edge Imps for Frightfur Fusion. Really interesting tech card, but that's all he had on his field. So, using this, and keep in mind, we still had Torpedo Takedown, and actually, this was actually incorrect. We actually have one more card because we were going second. So we had 3 cards in hand, all right? So what we did is we activated Torpedo Takedown. We detached a material from Abyss Splash. Our opponent takes effect damage equal to the number of cards in our hand times 400. So he took 1,200 damage. And then number 73 here gains that same amount of attack. So it went from 2,400 to 3,600. Okay? Then I activated the effect of Abyss Splash, detaching Abyss Shark. Sorry about that, my cat sneezed. To double its attack until the end of the turn. Alright, so, and this can be activated during either player's turn. You can attach one disease material from this card, double this card's attack till the end of the opponent's turn. However, the drawback is that the damage is halved. However, Abyss Shark doubles the damage. So now they're just taking regular damage. Okay, so Card Trooper has, like, what is it, like 900 attack? No, it has 400 attack. So I declare an attack, activate number 37, detach 1, drop the Card Trooper by 1,000, so it's now 0 attack. He takes a whopping 7,200 attack, because, remember, it went from 24 to 36, doubled to 72. So he takes 7,200 damage, and then an additional 26 from number 37. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the little combo tutorials and the deck profile. Sorry if this video was a little long. I haven't done this in a really long time, and so yeah, I apologize if I droned on and on and on, but I hope you enjoyed, and yeah. That's going to be all for this video, so I hope you enjoyed. Like, sub, vote in the weekly locals polls, where you decide what decks I take to locals, and yeah, see you next time.